Hey guys, so welcome back to another YouTube tutorial. So today we're going to be covering the basic procedural material in Blender, and we're going to be doing the wood, the glass, which is going to be a dispersion glass type that has the RGB colors through it, and we're going to be doing the plastic, and also we're going to be adding like some noise imperfections to these textures right here in Blender. So let's get right into it. Hello guys, so we're going to start with the glass shader. So take out the box, X to delete, Shift A, add the mesh. Let's use the monkey head, right? Yeah, so I'm going to add a subdivision surface modifier. Type sub, S-U-B, use a subdivision surface. Level viewport, make it 2, and you can see it's still like grid-like, so right click on it to shade smooth by angle works best for me, right? So we have this. Let's duplicate this. Shift D on the x-axis, select this one again, Shift D on the x, press X. Yeah, so we have 3 monkey head, right? Because we're making 3 materials, which is the this will be the glass, this would be the plastic, right? And this would be the wood. So let's start with the glass. So select this first monkey head and let's switch to our shading tab. Click on the shading tab up here. Yeah, so I'm just gonna like zoom to it, or you can press your title key, the key under escape, and then press 3, which is this view selected. Yes, and then you can still zoom and just navigate, or use this hand icon to pan around, or use this gizmo to just rotate around, whichever one works for you. Okay, so let's add a new material here, right? So we're going to delete the principal BSDF. Just select this one and press X to delete. Yeah, it's going to be black, right? So let's add our first node. So we're going to add a mix shader, Shift A, and type mix, and you see shader, the third option. Just select that and just drop it beside, right? You can connect the shader to surface, and let's add the next one, an add shader, right? So how do you pan around this node axis? So when you hold down your scroll wheel button, right, you can pan in this view, and as well you can zoom in and zoom out with the same scroll wheel button, right? Yeah, so just in case you don't know how to navigate, and you can also just select this, any node, just select it and press G to grab and just move your mouse without clicking anything, and then just left click to drop where you want it to be. Yeah, so let's move forward. So Shift A, let's add an add shader, drop it beside here. So we're gonna add another add shader. So instead of doing it, you can just Ctrl C and Ctrl V it, right? So like select it, right, Ctrl C, and bring your mouse over here and press Ctrl V, and you've pasted it here, right? So we're gonna add a glass shader next. So Shift A and type glass on your keyboard. So we're adding the glass BSDF, drop it here. So we need 3 more glass shader. So just select this, Ctrl C, come here, Ctrl V here, Ctrl V here. So we have 4 glass shaders, right? So just click to drag them to arrange your nodes. It's very important to arrange your node, right? So the connection is not going to be confusing. Okay, so let's connect this one before we add some more nodes to our node setup, right? So we're going to connect the add shader to here, this to this, and for the glass BSDF, connect to the first inputs of the shader. You can see we already have our glass shader already, just for basic glass. But we want like a dispersion glass effect where we have the 3 RGB colors, which is the red, the green, and the blue, just reflecting, right, to give like a kind of diamond effect, if that makes sense. Okay, so let's connect this glass BSDF down to this shader here, and this other glass to this shader down here, and this to the mix shader down here. So just have your setup looking this way. So be careful, look around, watch clearly where you're plugging a note to, so you don't put it in the wrong inputs, right? So because a wrong connection might not give you the desired result. So let's continue, right? So let's add so I think the next, let's just change our color, right? So this node is for one of the color, which is going to be red. We're going to use this for green, and we're going to use this for the blue color, right, to give that effect. So let's just change this. So select this color area and just switch it to red. Drag your color pointer down, as simple as that, and this drag it to green, and this to the blue, right? Yeah, so you can't see anything yet, so we have to change some values. So we're going to change the IOR value. IOR means index of refraction, so we're going to set this to 1.450. Yeah, you can see the red is popping out. Can you see this? The red is popping out a little bit. Yeah, that's what we want. So for the green, the IOR for the green is just I think 1.5 is okay for the green. 1.5. Let's, for the blue, let's go with 1.550. Yes, I think this works. Yeah, so we can see the red and the blue reflecting in the glass. Can you see that? So I think for the green to pop more, we need to add a light path node, right? So we're gonna add it right here. So Shift A, just type light. You see the light part. Just drop it above here, right? So we're going to be connecting the transmission depth to the factor of the mix shader. So just click to drag and plug it right here. Okay, cool. Yeah, this is given. Yeah, so we have the RGB effects. You can see the red, the blue, and the green trying to like fight through to like show in the glass, and that's what we want, right? Yeah, so we have our desired result. So we can go further by adding the noise texture to give it some scratches, let's say, or some imperfection textures in it, because this glass is looking too clean and too new. So if that's what you want, you're good to go. You can save, you can render out what you want to texture, or you can go ahead and add your imperfection and control that with a color ramp. So let's go ahead to finish this up. Okay, so behind here we're going to add a color ramp. So Shift A, type color, go to color ramp, drop it in here, and then let's connect the color to the roughness of our glass. This here, this to the green, and then this to the blue. Yes, so yeah, we're having a kind of an opaque feel to the glass. Yeah, we're not there yet, so just hold on for a bit. So the next shader we're going to add, we're adding our noise texture. Shift A, type in your noise texture. Yeah, so you're going to connect the factor of the noise texture output to input of the color ramp factor. So FAC means factor, right? So we'll still go in there, right? So let's add our mapping node, the texture coordinate. So if you have your node wrangler turned on, in edit preferences, add-ons, just search for node wrangler. Make sure this is turned on. If not, what I'm about to show you is not going to work. So make sure it's turned on and then save preferences. Yeah, so just come back to your node, which is noise texture, select it and press Ctrl T, and then you have these two added nodes to your nodes automatically, which is texture coordinate and the mapping node, right? So we're just going to switch it from generated to object. So just disconnect this and drag from object to vector. Yeah, so you can see we're having the noise texture is affecting the glass, right? You can see, so but this is not the result that we want, so we're going to play with the noise texture. So let's use a value of come to noise texture. We have a scale and detail. So for the scale, we're going to use a value of 15. So just type 15, enter. You can see, right? Yeah, so so what I noticed in class, I see some of my students unknowingly unticking this normalize and it gives unwanted results like this, right? And they don't know how to fix it. So just make sure this normalize is checked. It's a very common mistake that I've noticed. So moving forward, so make sure your scale is at 15, detail is at 15, enter, right? Leave the locality. I don't know what that means. We'll just leave it at default and let's move forward, please. Okay, yeah. So back to your color ramp. So you can play with your color ramp values here. So we have the black and the white slider. So when you drag the black into the white, it gives you the value of noise that you would want for your glass. Can you see this now? So I would want to change my interpolation type to is, yeah, it's gonna like refresh. Just give it like a second, yeah. So you can play with your white slider too to give you the kind of like noise pattern that you'd prefer. So just play with it based on your own creative freedom. Okay, yeah. So guys, let's continue. Okay, so like I was saying, right, you have the creative freedom to control the strength of your noise. I think there's one more thing missing that I forgot to slip into. So for the noise texture, right, they have a roughness value of 0.5. So we're going to use the value of 1, and it's going to give like some more like little details, right? So let me just increase this. So can we see now the difference? So let me take it down. You see, we don't want this. We want something like this. Can you see this now? Yeah. So you can control the slider to reduce the amount of noise pattern, or let's say imperfection or scratch. Can you see? You can just play with it. So this play with what you want to get your creative freedom. Yeah, so I think for mine I'll just leave it this way. I don't want something too brand new, right? Like right out of the box. So I want something with a little bit of scratch. So I think I'm fine with this, yeah. If you want something very new, you can just take the black all the way this way, and then you will have it. So for me, I'll just leave it at this. Okay, so we are done with the glass. So that's it. So let's go to the next. So let's not forget, always rename your shader when you're done or before you even go ahead. So I'm going to name this. Let me name it by the type of glass, which is dispersion glass. Right. Okay, yeah. So the next one selected, we're gonna go for the plastic. So I'll be fast for this one because if there's any parts that you do not get, you can just either slow down the video or you can just take it back to get it right. All right, so let's move to the next material, which is the plastic. So select the next monkey head and click on new, and let's rename it to plastic. Enter. And you can see sometimes you won't be able to see those nodes created, right? And don't get confused, it's somewhere off the screen. All you need to do, you can just zoom out your scroll wheel button, you see tiny here, you can just pan and zoom back in, or you can just do this, right? If you can't see it, so you can just press the title key and then 6 to frame it, right? And let's assume you deselect this thing, because when you see it, you see this glowy orange line and white line, means it's selected. So let me click this gray area here. You can see it's deselected. So when it's out of your screen and you press the title key and 6, it doesn't do anything, right? So what you do when that doesn't work for you, make sure your cursor is right in this half of the screen, right? And just click any blank area here. Then you can press A on your keyboard. What that does, it selects all the nodes in the nodes area. So when you press A, then you press your title key and 6. You can see it snaps to your view. So I hope this helps. So going forward, so for the glass shader, we're not going to delete the principal BSDF. We are going to be using it right? It's going to be very, very helpful. So we're going to add the first node, which is the color ramp. Shift A, type your color, look for your color ramp, click in it, and drag it to the side of the principal BSDF. And by the way, the plastic material, it's easy to create, right? So the next node is just going to add the noise texture. Or before then, let's just create the very simple glass shader, right? So just connect the color ramp to the roughness. So, and then of course, so for the base color, just click on the white rectangle box and pick any color of your choice. So for this tutorial, I'm going to be going with the pink side of color, right? So I'll just you can see we have our basic color pink. Yeah, so how to make it shine? Just go to your color ramp and just the black handle, just crank it all the way up here towards the right. And you can see the shininess of your plastic. Can you see? Very, very simple. And that's just it. It's like the basic plastic material that you can't create, right? I'm sure there are very complex things out there. When you go online on YouTube, you see a lot of complex way to create this, but trust me, this is the most simplest that you ever see. Yeah, so let's add like I said, some imperfections with our noise texture, just like we did for the glass. So like I said again, Shift A, add the noise, search for noise, NOISE. You see your noise texture, just click it to drop it by the side of the color ramp. So like we did for the glass, connect the factor to the factor of color ramp, and then let's add our texture coordinates. So like we did earlier, select the noise texture, press Ctrl T, and you have the texture coordinate and the mapping node automatically attached for you. So again, we're going to disconnect this and connect object to vector, right? So right out of the bat, we can see that the shininess does not really affect all the area in the plastic because of our noise texture. Let me just crank this up so you see what I'm talking about. Let me just all the way. Sorry. Okay, so we can't see much, so let's just play with the values of our noise, right? So come to the noise texture, which is right here. Go to scale and let's use the value of 15, and let's go to detail and use the value of 15 as well, and 15, and let's use a roughness value of 1 as well. Yes, so let's take the handle back a bit. So I think I need to zoom in so you can see the pattern. Yeah, so you need like a light reflection on your plastic to see the noise pattern, and you have to like zoom in close. So let me just pull the slider so you'd see. Can you see? I don't know if it was very visible from this end. Yes, so that's what the noise texture does to your plastic. So the slider gives you your creative freedom to add or decrease the amount of roughness you want. So that's up to you. So just play with it. So for me, I'll just leave it at this. I think this works for me. Yes. So if you can't see it, probably you should increase the quality of the video from maybe set it to like 720 or 1080p on YouTube. You'd see it very clearly, or you can see it on your own system. Yeah, so and that's it. That's the end of the plastic. You can as well change the color anytime you want, right? You can just play the value. Your noise pattern is still there, it does not change. So I'm going to stick to my pink. Yes, and we're done with this. So the final one, which is the wood. So this is very interesting because of this dynamic shape that comes with the wood, and we're going to be doing similar thing. Just I'm going to add we're going to be introducing like a new node, a bump node, and the Musgrave texture. So let's select the last monkey head and add a new material and just name it wood. And so for that, so we're still going to use the principal BSDF for the wood, right? So so I realized that from Blender 4.0 the IOR comes on default at I think 1.4 also, so you might have to change to 1.5, right? So so let's just move forward. So let's add a color ramp. So Shift A, add a color ramp. So you can see we're using like almost similar nodes which we used before. So these are nothing new to us, right? So connect the color to base color, right? And let's add a noise texture. A noise texture. So connect the factor to the factor here. Yeah. So for the next noise texture, let's change the scale value to 2 and change the detail value to 15, and then let's change the distortion to 0.8, right? So let's see. So when you pull your slider on the color ramp, you would see the noise texture affecting your mesh or the monkey head, since that's what we are going with, right? So we're not done. We need to add the next node. Here we're going to add the Musgrave. Shift A, MUSG. Okay, so for Blender 4.1, you will not see Musgrave texture. So I think we are to use noise texture for Musgrave texture. Yeah. So if you're using Blender 4.0, you'll see Musgrave. So the Musgrave is let me just start before you. It's MUSGRAVE, right? Just this. So type it, you see Musgrave texture. So in Blender 4.1, you're not going to get this. So use a noise texture instead, right? To do that. So you're just still gonna connect the factor to vector. So for this particular noise, you can see we're having like a kind of weird pattern, like a woody kind of pattern now, like a flowy pattern. So for this second noise texture, right, you're just going to change the scale value to 0.6, and then we're going to change the detail value. Okay, 2 is fine. Yeah, just leave it at this. This is fine. Yeah, I think this works, right? You can see. So we're having like a wood pattern now, just that it's not brown. So what do you think the next thing should be? Of course, change the color to a wood color, which we're going to do shortly. In fact, let's just do it right now. So back to the color ramp here. So this is what's going to control the color inputs for the wood. So if you notice, we have a two slider here, the black and the white. So start with the black. So select this black. You have to click on this black box, this one here. Click on it. So you can see a black base here. When you click on the white, here switches to white. So you're going to start with the black. So click on the black and click on the black box to change the color. So to see your color wheel, you have to raise up the gradient, right, up, so you can choose a brown color. Brown is somewhere around here. Then just take your gradient down. We want like a really dark brown. I think something like this works for me. So you can copy this hex code and input it to yours. If you want the exact color that I'm using, copy this hex code, right? So that'll work for me. So and then for the next color, select the white and come down here, click on this box, and then pick your light brown. Like I think something like this. So this is the hex code, just in case you want to use the same value. So just copy this code and type it under the hex tab and press enter. You get the exact color that I'm using. Yeah, so you can click out. Yeah, so I think this works for me as my brown wood texture, right? So I think one last thing to add, or second to last thing to add, right? So come down here, select your last noise texture and press Ctrl T. Okay, so we're going to connect the disconnect the generated and connect object to vector to have a more refined pattern. Yeah, so so one last thing, let's click on normalize here. Alright, so next go to your mapping node, go to scale. On the y-axis, let's use 0.3, and then for the z, let's use the value of 10. Yes, So this is going to give you like a kind of like that stretch wood pattern. So of course this is also up to you, depending on the kind of like wood pattern you want. You can play with the value, right? So just stick with the design you prefer. So we're not always using the value that I used here. So I think, but for me this works, right? So I think one last thing, let's add a bump node. Shift A, BUMP, enter, and then let's also add a second color ramp here, so we can play with the shininess of the wood, right? So Shift A, type a color ramp. So this is going to control how the wood how do I call it, like to have like a polished wood effect, whether it's reflective or not. So this is going to help us to control that. So we're going to like connect this from the factor of the noise texture to the factor here, and then we're going to connect the color to the roughness. Yes, so let's zoom into our wood so we'll see what I'm talking about. So when you come down here, of course, let me change the interpolation to ease, and then so playing with the sliders is going to do the same thing, right? Can you see? So this is going to affect the kind of wood polishing that you would want to get. So, and of course, if you notice, right, the darker colors of the wood has more shininess than to the lighter colors. So can you see? So it also gives like a dynamic feel to your wood texture. So I don't know if you can see this here, but so you can just play with that, play with the values to give whatever kind of feel you want to your textures, right? Yeah, so that gives you that level of control. Okay, so finally let's add like a bump node, right, which we already have here, right? So let's just connect this to the normal, connect the normal to normal of the principal BSDF, and then we're going to take in from factor of the noise texture to the height of the bump. Yes, to just give it some minute to reset, and you can see this very awful height map. So it's giving that rough vibe of your wood, right? So you're going to control the strength from the strength value here. So I'm going to use maybe 0.2. Yes. So you can see it's giving off that rough vibe just by using the normal maps. So it's up to you. If you don't want that rough texture, you can just disconnect this, right? And you would have, or you can just put it at 0, and you have your smooth wooden texture. If you want some level of roughness, you can just play with the values. You can see I'm going to leave it at 0.2 just for the purpose of this tutorial, right? So can you see the glow, the shininess, right? You can also go back to the second color ramp and play with the level of shininess you get. Okay, so now that you're done with your glass, your plastic, and then your wooden texture, right? So let me show you how to quickly do a quick render, because I know some of you have not really tried to render anything in circles. So for the purpose of this tutorial, we're going to be using circles to render an image, not animation, please, because it's going to take a really long time to render animation. So for circles rendering, it's more realistic. It gives more correct light bounces and reflection and all that. So we're going to just jump right into it. So to get a decent render, so I'm just going to use HDRI for the lighting, for dynamic lighting, so we don't spend time doing any light setup. It's just going to be a very quick one. So while we are in our shading tab right here, we can just come here to this object tab and just click on it. You get it like a drop down menu. So select world, and then you would have your node. Just look for it, right? If you can't see it, same thing like I taught you. Press the TDAL key and 6. It's gonna come to right to you. So select this background and press Shift A. Let's type in environment, ENVI, and you see environment texture. So just add this here. So connect this to color, And so for you to see your HDRI, you have to leave the shading viewport, so which is here. So click on this last circle, which is this render viewport, right? So click on that. Yeah, or you can just, let's go back, or you can just press on your viewport, right? Press Z, and then you see your render viewport up here, which is 8. Click on that. So you're gonna have this this pink room Barbie kind of vibe. So, but that's not what we want for this tutorial, right? So we're just going to come back to the environment texture, click on the file, on the folder icon. So I'm just going to be using this brown studio photo HDRI. So I'm going to select it. You can go to HDRI Haven to get, let me quickly just show you what that looks like. So just select it, open image, and you can see your HDRI when you go rotate around. When you like just rotate around, either use here or with the mouse click to rotate around, right? So I'm not concerned about the environment really. I just need the light set up so to render what I have here. So quickly, let's go to our render tab here. So we're going to be switching to EV from EV to circles. Yes, so this takes time to render. So go to your device, switch to GPU compute. So this renders with your graphics card, right? A GPU rendering. It makes it more faster than usual. So just go down to your render here, and this max samples right here it's we're having 4096 samples, which is way too much to render an image, right? Especially when you have a low end PC. So for that case, I'm just going to use 10. My PC can handle 1000 or 2000 and be very fast, but just for the sake of people with a low end PC, you can use 10 sample just for something easy and not something really high quality. Well, depending on the amount of time you're willing to wait. So let's just try 10, or let me just try 20 and see. So you can try 20, you can try 50, you can try 100 and see what your system can handle, and can go up from there. So make sure that the noise is checked. So on this light, just drop down this light menu here and untick this light 3. It's going to super enhance your rendering speed, trust me. Yes. So what else? I think that's just it. Circles is very easy to set up. So I'm just gonna click on this camera icon right here. So it's going to render what the camera sees. So I'm just going to press N on my keyboard, select this view, come to lock, and click on the second option. There's camera to view and lock it. So what that means, I can press N to hide it back. What that means is that I can move my camera without the camera snapping out of view, right? So I just need to frame my object, right? So whatever is in this frame is going to be rendered out. So let's just say this, nothing really fancy, right? So just go to here, render, up here, click on render image, and then it's going to render. So it's going to count the samples from 1 to 20, and once it's at 20 it's done. So for me it's done. I have a high end PC, so it took like 5 seconds to render this image. You can see, so you can zoom in, you can see how pixelated it is, right? So the more samples you use, the less pixels you get. Yeah, so that is how to render an image. You can see it's looking very realistic because of the render engine we use, which is circles, right? So that is it. So you can just come here, image, click save, choose your directory and save it. You can just name it, right? You can name it whatever you name it, and save as image, and you're good to go. And close this. You can move your camera to render a second shot, right, or any view you want to render, and then come to render image, and just, yeah, and it's done. It took 6 seconds. So go to image, go to save, you can rename it and save. you're good to go. So that's how to go about it. So thank you guys. Like I said, if you have any question, please drop it in the comment section and I'll try to answer all your questions. So do have a wonderful time and have a blessed. Keep creating.